Hey everybody, Courtney Smith here with our weekly Wall Street winners. So excited to be here. So excited to read this. I've been waiting all week to read this disclaimer, and wow, I think I'll just take the next 20 minutes and read it over and over. Okay, I'll skip that. All right, what's happening here? Well, we got a little bit of diporama here, but we've recovered quite nicely. So it looks to me like everything is pretty much all clear to the upside. And I'm going to continue to remain bullish and making money, loving every second of it. Now, one thing is we saw the dip. If we look here, we saw that dip on Wednesday and Thursday, and you can see that the selling pressure, the red line, shot up at that point. Buying pressure didn't go down too much, but selling pressure popped up, and then we ended the week basically with them in balance. So this is not particularly bullish here. Our Nasdaq chart, though, looks very nice. We've rallied up. We're up now to basically the highs that we'd made before. But I think one of the biggest things that happened this week was the close above my flip. So I've been looking for this level here for the longest time. We finally closed above. I really was looking at like 158.50. We finally closed above it. If we're still there on the open on Monday morning, which I would anticipate, then we have to count seasonality as bullish. Now, normally, the old saying, sell in May and go away, is true. Most of the time that's true, and so I would never consider flipping the switch on seasonality to bullish, but here we see that in a pre-election year, the market actually peaks in July. So we may still have a little bit of a dip here in May. You see that seasonally, that's a very common thing to happen. So that's quite possible. But the main thing is that we have to remain looking at the big picture. And the big picture is, it's a bull market, don't you know? It's a bull market. We should be looking for this thing to move up to much higher prices in July. Now, I'm still very, very worried about the fall and winter, but we don't have to worry about that now. We need to make money now using the things that are in place in front of our eyes right now, and that is seasonality is now bullish. Now, what does that mean? Just because it's bullish, what do we do now? Well, what I like to do is when it's bullish is I increase the size of my risk. So in other words, if I'm usually risking 1% of my portfolio, I'll go to 1.5 or 2%. Now, I don't adjust my old positions, but any new positions, of course, I would put on 50 or 100% bigger. Now, that immediately should increase your profits by 50 to 100%. What's wrong with doubling your money? If you would have made 10% before, now you make 20%. If you would have made 10% before, you make 15%. This is a dramatic outperformance, and one of the reasons why I outperform everybody every year, because I use powerful techniques like seasonality. The yield curve, of course, I've belabored this. You know my opinion, I'm nervous. Asset allocation is doing nothing. They are kind of hunkering down a little bit. They're taking less and less risk in the market. They're being less and less aggressive about the market. So, okay, they're taking risk, just not as much. Global shares popped up as well. They're doing pretty well, but right now the U.S. market is outperforming, so that's where my focus is. Another big focus of mine, though, is the bond market. I called a couple weeks ago looking for the market to rally higher. Look at that purple predictor is quite bullish. We got up exactly to where I thought we would, about 124.50, but I now think we can get up to around 125.50 to 126. Our key indicators are starting to turn a little bit less negative. Now, let's break this down. The most important near-term indicator is the blue line, 10-year treasuries in Germany. And you can see that they're kind of, they're stabilizing. But look at the chart itself, the red and black lines. That's starting to collapse, suggesting lower interest rates. And then the gold line is gold, and it's suggesting lower interest rates. The dollar, we had the big breakout a couple weeks ago, but we've never really been able to consolidate it. So the dollar's been quite strong since the middle of March, but we haven't conclusively been able to break out of this gigantic trading range that we've been in for months. So I think we need to be focusing on the long side, but really there's better places to put your money right now. Now gold continues to dribble lower. We sprung up on Friday. Now this could be, and I'm going to look deeper into this, this is either a down channel or what it may be is a bullish wedge formation. A wedge formation is formed by two slanted lines, but the upper line is slanted more down than the lower one. And this is actually a bullish formation because it shows that the bulls are starting to fight back. So we need to watch this closer, but if it is a bullish ascending triangle, that would be fantastic. We could get long gold again. Our gold key indicators up at the top, roughly neutral, in the middle, bearish, but at the bottom, the most important one is bullish. Crude oil doing what I told you. We are starting to sell off here. The news, I talked a lot about it last week. I won't go into it in much detail now, but I think we got out of all our oil positions, and now I think we're going to be drifting lower for a while. Now, Bitcoin, I broke apart a lot last week. I told you I'm bullish. I'm staying bullish. Purple Predictor is very bullish. But my objective, we're getting closer and closer to my objective, which is, let's call it 6,200. Let's call it 6,000 to 6,400, something like that. Right now, the Purple Predictor is the most bullish thing. We continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and so we want to stay long. All right, we did our Las Vegas Stock Financial Freedom System last weekend. We had a great time. It was fantastic. Now, LA, I got to tell you, we got a big crowd coming to this thing. We haven't done this class in Los Angeles for a long time, and we may have to get a bigger room than we booked. It's that popular. So be sure to book right away if you're coming. Orlando, we still have seats in Orlando. And then coming up in October, we've got our master class for stocks. This is right now a 3-day event. Might go to a 4-day event, but this is where I'm going to teach all the most powerful techniques I've got. Then on the option side, we got coming up in Los Angeles, Orlando, and then back again in Las Vegas, the Option Success School. I know you're going to love that. And a master class on option trading as well. All right, you know all about this. You know all about this. I'm not going to repeat it. So that's it for me, freebies. Love having you here. That's it for me, freebies. Fully paid up members, hang on one second.